Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of our entitled parents. In today's episode, entitled Grandma Ruins My Dad's Wedding. Entitled Grandfather Tells His Gremlins to Try to Kill Our Dog. ED flips out on two kids because of the wind. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Entitled Grandma Ruins My Dad's Wedding. Well, here we go, another story of my entitled grandmother, the woman who threw away my food, took my laptop, left my mom in the cold and almost stabbed me. I'm 27, I don't live near her at all. Let's add another thing she did on the list. This was before I was born, and this is a story told by my dad on his wedding with my mom. Backstory: my grandmother used to be a baker. That's the only thing she was good at, cooking. And did a lot of wedding planning for many people, but she hated my mom. Even after marrying, she still does. My dad gave grandma $10,000 to get the wedding revenue, the cake, and everything ready for the wedding since she works with that. My grandma always finds a way to guilt and play nice with my dad, coming back to her even when she's the devil. I don't know how my dad keeps falling for it still today. On to the story. My dad had two cars back then, a Toyota Tacoma and a Rabbit, old Volkswagen Golf, and he gifted my mother the Golf. This will be important later. My dad has been saving for the wedding for a while. They've been in a relationship for 3 years, so he gave the money to my grandma to do the whole wedding and cake. But if you haven't figured out how bad my grandma is, hey, race what happened 1 week before the wedding. My dad, is everything ready for the wedding? EGM, why do you ask me? That's your responsibility. My dad, Mom, I gave you the money to prepare the revenue and the cake. EGM, oh, I don't know anything about that. My dad, slightly panicking, Mom, I gave you money on a date to prepare everything. What did you do with it? EGM, I don't know what you're talking about either. You were preparing all that on yourself. Dad, Mom, I gave you $10,000 in cash. What did you do with it? EGM, either you have me that as a gift since you've been treating us so badly after engaging to that WH*re. Yes, she calls my mom that. Dad, no, that was not for that. Can I have the money back then to get the wedding then? EGM, oh, I already spent it. I don't have that kind of money, sorry. Dad, what did you spend it on? EGM, things I needed to upgrade the business, you know how it is. My dad, realizing my grandma sabotaged the wedding, decides to talk to my mom, his fiancée at this point in time. They both agree to save the wedding and invitations to sell my mom's car at a lower price to make a wedding. They couldn't sell my dad's cause that's the only vehicle my dad had to go to work. They managed to get only $5,000. It was enough to rent some tables, chairs and decorations to make the wedding at the backyard of a friend's house cause they didn't have the money to pay for the rest. After all this, my entitled grandma had the audacity to come at the wedding anyways with a white dress. My mom wasn't upset. She really didn't care about entitled grandma at all. My grandma was ignored throughout the entire wedding. You can see the misery on grandma's face in the wedding pictures I saw when I got older. It was a beautiful, happy wedding. But my dad was disappointed cause it wasn't how he planned it exactly, but that he was happy to finally marry my mom. Entitled Grandfather Tells His Gremlins to Try to Kill Our Dog. There isn't too much backstory other than the fact that we live in a really bad neighborhood. There often has been police escorting people out of their house with guns and drugs behind them, plus a multiple-time child ex-offender just moved in down the road. Some neighbors we have were super nice, these ones are not. We own a very nice, very young, very big, and very dumb Rottweiler. As most young pups do, Tuyo, he is very energetic and loves to say hello to the neighbors and people walking by. And by saying hello, I mean letting off a bark that could rival gunshots. He is very loud, but has never harmed anyone outside his one family, because he is also an whole LOL. One random day, I'm sitting out on our deck because it was nice and could let dog outside. Some kids, maybe about 7 altogether, ages ranging from about 3 to 10, were playing in their yard. Of course, dog wants to say hello because he loves everyone. so he runs over and starts barking. QEG coming out of his house and down the sidewalk and seeing this. He runs over and starts shouting at our dog. I try and call dog off because I knew this wasn't going anywhere nice. EG shouting made our dog frightened, and I seriously couldn't tell if he was barking to say hello or trying to warn EG he was going to murder him. EG, what business do you have sending your dog to attack little children? Me, he was just saying hello, sir. If anything, he wants to attack you for shouting at him. EG, nonsense, you just can't stand seeing poorer people living next to you. The family was living in a large townhome/apartment thing. Me, whatever, dog, come on, let's go. Me and dog go inside, nothing further ensues that day. The next few days, however, very much something ensued. My mom usually takes dog outside and watches him, and the next few days she witnesses some of the kids trying to feed dog scraps. Maybe some bread, a piece of steak or something. For the record, if you were never taught this, never feed an animal you don't know. It's a very good way to get the animal attracted to you, and when you don't feed it again, it gets mad. Which is exactly what happened. Our mom knew that and would try and tell the kids to stop and even explained why. The kids in this case listened and respected what our mom had to say. But since this was a highly unexpected dog, she didn't want them trying to pet him either. Which the kids understood, but most didn't like it because they love dogs. For some reason, they keep getting caught trying to feed dog. Or we will find uneaten food scraps in our yard. One time, I was out watching dog again. He sniffs some grass, pees a little, then goes on patrol. The kids see this and bolt out of the door waving a whole loaf of white bread. Which, without moderation or too much at one time, can be pretty bad for dogs. Cue dog going over and starting to growl. But being the big baby he is, sees the bread and proceeds to lay down. I start to speak up telling the kids to stop feeding dog. But this time, they ignore me and toss almost 10 full slices over. I run down because I knew how bad bread was for dogs and went to speak to them. Then, EG comes out and starts pitching a fit to me about how I should be controlling his grandchildren, and how he was going to beat me up if I kept trying. EG, don't you dare tell my little ones what to do. You should be happy they're feeding your mutt. Me, you would think, but I have explained to them many times how they shouldn't feed him, especially bread, because it's bad for dogs without moderation. EG, bullcrap. I fed dogs bread and they're fine. Me, good for you, maybe find those dogs and tell your little shits to feed them. EG, oh, you're getting lippy now, huh? You want to fight? Puts fists up. Now, as stupid as dog is, he will protect me or anyone in my family to his dying breath, so upon seeing EG stance up, he runs over and starts freaking out on his side of the fence. Full force barking and snarling. Me, sure I'll fight you. I have backup anyways. EG, walks away and whispers, we'll see about that. I dragged dog back inside so we didn't deal with that and cleaned up the remaining bread. Breathed in and out the rest of the day, went to bed. Woke up late the next morning so mom had already let dog out. It was relatively hot so she just let him out and would call him in a few minutes. I look out my window at our dog and how he was walking around. Cue the gremlins coming around the house with food. This time, chicken bones. My instincts kick in and as fast as I could, still in pajamas, sprinted out the door and tried to get the kids to stop, but was too late. Dog was laying down, crunching and munching happily on the bones. All my fellow dog owners should know why chicken bones are like cyanide to dogs, but if you don't know, bird bones and smaller stuff like that can splinter off and get stuck in your dog's throat and choke it and eventually kill it. Mom followed out behind me, already on the phone with the pet hospital. I was shouting at the gremlins. Me, why would you give him that? How many times have we told you to not feed him? Gremlins, Grandpa said doggies like bones, so he gave us these to give to the doggy. I looked down and dog was still crunching on the bones. EG comes out, looking smug. E.g., let's see how much backup you have after this. Me, you piece of shit. You better hope he comes out alive, or you and your stupid gremlins are going to be as deep in lawsuits. Time lapse, dog goes to vet, comes out alive, police are called, and EG is warned never to feed dog again. ED flips out on 2 kids because of the wind. Okay, so this story requires some context. I just want to say that I was born with autism and have had it my whole life. Something to note is that I don't handle yelling very well. What a stroke of luck for me. It's important to the story, trust me. That's basically all the context you need, so now on to the story. Let's meet the cast. ED, entitled Dad, MD, my dad, M/OP, me, F, friend. This story takes place when I was around 10. My brother was really into football at the time, and this story takes place at one of his games. Now, being the 10-year-old I was, I got pretty bored after a little while of watching the game and wanted to have some fun with F. I asked him if he wanted to throw a football around, while great theming LOL, and he agreed. Something else you need to know is that this particular day was quite windy, so it was a bit hard to throw it around so that we would catch it. As expected, we were throwing the ball around when the wind carries the ball and sails right over to ED's head. I swear it's like a cartoon, but it really happened. Enter ED. Ed, what the hell do you think you're doing? Sorry, we were just throwing the ball and the wind BL. Ed, I don't care about the wind. Why did you throw that ball at me? Do you realize you could have hit a baby? Probably shouldn't have said this. Well, actually, we did. ED, with an insulted ego that is enough. Where are your parents? Tell me now or I will call the police. F, please sir, calm down. It was the wind and OP was trying to calmly explain this to you. Ed, fine, but don't hit me again, or I will file an assault claim with the police. F and I decide to go back to playing, talking about how weird that guy was. We thought that was the end of things, but no. Not 5 minutes later, and we accidentally hit him again. Ed, that is it, you little brats. Op, you are going to tell me where your parents are right now. Ugh, fine. He's over there. Points to MD. We walk over to MD, and I try to explain what happened, and that it was an accident, but ED kept telling me to shut up. Ed, your son and his friend just assaulted me twice. Points to M, and this little rat called me a baby, and he was the one who threw the ball both times. MD, how did he react to you yelling at him? Ed, he cried like a little baby. Mocking M, who is the baby now, you brat? MD, he has autism. He doesn't respond well to yelling. ED's face went from blood red to ghost white faster than anybody have seen to this day. ED, sorry OP, awkwardly walks away. And that was the one and only time I have ever had an encounter with an entitled parent out in the wild. Not entitled necessarily, but I mean, what sane person threatens to call the cops on a 10-year-old? If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.